Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Super Tees video. And you may not know this, I just found out this morning, but apparently Blizzard is adding in-game AI for dungeons in 10.2. So if you've been struggling with really long queue times, you're not able to find anybody to go through all of these dungeons at lower level, they're actually introducing AI similar to Final Fantasy. Now, I didn't know they were also introducing AI to the current patch 10.1.7 for PvP, and specifically seems to be most predominantly represented by elemental shamans. And in today's video, I wanted to showcase to you what is, I would consider to be the worst bot I have ever seen in my entire life. I don't know why someone would pay money for this. I hope they didn't, because it is an absolute waste of money. So please keep your eyes on the shaman who runs halfway up the ramp and stops moving, and immediately only casts Flame Shock and Lava Burst without moving from the bottom side of the ramp. I don't know if the rails for the AI are scripted properly for Blade's Edge Arena, but this guy would just not move from this position on the entire map, but he can do 80,000 DPS. It's pretty spectacular. And I noticed, hey, the bot started crawling up a little bit. I couldn't figure out why it started to do that, because it would just stand here on the ramp out of line of sight otherwise and cast Healing Surge and basically do nothing while it's behind the pillar, out of range of pretty much everything in the game. My Hunter's over here trying to do whatever he can to win the game, while the Ellie Shaman bot, you can see him over here on the ramp, is just doing absolutely nothing. We bash the Paladin. We're trying to look for Cyclone. I'm basically praying that my Marksmanship Hunter can solo the Priest, because, yeah, this thing over here is not really going to be helping too much, I don't think. You can see his damage start falling off because he's not in line of sight, and I'm really hoping they're going to be able to do something about this, because this is becoming more and more of a problem, I feel like, in PvP, and it's also becoming a problem for people who aren't using these programs but being accused of using these programs. But this was the most obvious case I've ever seen. So what I tried to do was stand on the edge and hope that somebody would come near me to get in line of sight of this thing, because, like, what else can I really do to try and get this bot to be able to incorporate itself into the game? And this would maybe even be like a good indicator of what it would be like for a Blizzard AI. I mean, we had the Comp Stomp play against robots for Battlegrounds, and some people actually like it, and I think that it can be a really good way to introduce players to PvP who might have anxiety over group content, or just anxiety over being criticized. And you can get a bunch of AI, and if they're properly programmed, can teach players how to play. I feel like when I started in League of Legends, I started off playing against bots. I didn't want to play against players. Felt like I was holding back. I didn't know what items I needed to buy. I didn't know where I was supposed to go, how to lane, how to last hit. I didn't know how to do any of that. So I played against computers to be able to learn how to play the game. So honestly, I think having a feature like play against bots, although they would have to be programmed pretty, intricately to be able to exchange. And this is what I found interesting with this bot, is he could go all the way up one side of the bridge. So I think it depended on which side of the map he spawned, but he can get up on that side. But if he spawns on this side, he only goes halfway up the ramp. So he's got to update his mode apparently here if he's going to be able to use this before getting banned ultimately, I would think. But playing against bots can actually be a really good way to learn how to play. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on that. Would you like to see like a play against computers arena mode? It honestly might even be something that you could queue while you're in queue for solo shuffle that would pop during the game, because it's just practice mode against bots. You could play against bots. Maybe even you could pick the specs that you want to play against, and it just runs you through certain mechanics and abilities of the characters. Maybe even you can slow the game down. It plays on a slower version, so you can learn how to play the game in a an environment where people are going to be less critical because they're bots, and it's a little bit slower, so you can start to pick things up. Honestly, I think that it could be a really good way to introduce players into PvP and into Arena and make it less intimidating for them. So I personally would like to see them incorporate some type of play against the bots here. We knock the Paladin off the edge, and guess what? The Shaman bot can't move. The Shaman bot's stuck right where he is on this ramp, and we can win the game this way. So there's some special tactics here in this video if you're ever in a situation like this where you get somebody. But I want you guys to know this bot that doesn't move and stands in one spot is 2,400. I'm just going to point that out. He's 2,400. So if you guys were wondering, like, what's the most important thing in PvP in order to gain rating, it's doing a lot of damage. I mean, there's no doubt that it's doing a lot of damage, because this guy can't move, so his positioning is non-existent. He doesn't CC. I think like maybe Lightning Lasso or something every once in a while. I don't even understand how the bot figures it out. But look, we spawn on this side. The bot can't figure out how to get up the bridge. Like, are you joking right now? Only when he's on my team Can he not figure out how to get up the bridge? We get repped like a noob. I need to update my AI program so I stop getting repped out of bear form, obviously. That's a joke. Here we're going to Ironbark the Priest. We're going to Cenarian Ward. We're going to pray to God. And here the Shadow Priest learned, like, we got to hold him in line of sight of the Shaman if we're going to win. So he's going to play on the bottom. But this is a very brave position to go as a Priest against a Marksmanship Hunter and a Warrior. Very high physical damage against the cloth target. It's going to be really difficult to survive. And it puts us in a situation where it's very easy to control us. I moved to the Shaman and hope that, like, maybe he's got Grounding Bot. And guess what? I get scattered and he puts ground down for the freezing trap. So like it's actually insane what some of these programs are actually doing in World of Warcraft. We get a bash here on the Warrior, forcing the trinket. Paladin's getting low. This is honestly looking a lot better, at least than the first round, given our positioning. So just playing around wherever this guy is spawned in, because this is obviously a problem at the moment. I've seen so many at this point, and just the damage output that it can do is actually insane. Like this needs to be dealt with. Dispersion here forced. Good dispersion during the Sharpened Blade. Really good time to use a defensive cooldown against a warrior is when you've got Sharpened Blade on yourself. We're lobbing out Star Surges and Moonfires. I'm really depressed right now that this warrior didn't die. So I cycle him at 1% and I swap the clone over to the Paladin hoping that he would die. But he just barely stays alive with Ignore Pain. And it's actually the most tragic thing I've ever seen in my life that the warrior survives right here in this instance. We're doing our best to keep the priest going. We've got Void Shift available. Last line of defense. Can we manage to make it out alive of this situation with the bot that has just stood here in one spot the entire game and still doing top damage, but not able to really kill anything? Stun into trap, tried to ground it. Apparently the Paladin is faster than the bot program and killed the ground, but they end up getting a Repentance. Break it with Shockwave, so it's good for us. We got Ironbark up. We've got a Bash available. Could toss this Bash out onto the Warrior or the Paladin at this instance, but then they War Banner, and this War Banner makes it super annoying. I can't go for the Bash right away. We get Void Shift off at the last second. We're so close. I bash the Warrior in a panic to try and stay alive. I got to avoid Repentance. I got to heal the Priest. I got to clone the Pally at the same time. There's too much I got to do, man, and not enough time, and he survives again at a sliver of health, 43,000. Super depresso, espresso here from this game. And then you can see in this round, I tell the Warrior, like, we got to pull back. We got to stay in line of sight of the Shaman, and he doesn't listen to me. And you're going to see how bad it goes if you don't play this way around the bots that you are probably likely to encounter in your lobbies. And apparently people are running the budget versions of them because they can get 2,400 with this thing that just stands in one spot and doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything at all. But if you're not playing around it, watch this guy. Look at this. Going up the ramp. Boop. I don't know why. I can only go halfway up the ramp, guys. Program's not working. Oh, maybe he came back to his PC and now he's like stutter stepping his way back to the top of the bridge. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what happened. Maybe he went AFK. I don't know. He could be doing something else. I don't know. Maybe he's like bodying RuneScape or something on top of his multi-boxing like 30 different games or something. We get the double fear, but you can see that if the priest stays here on this bottom side of the stair, the shaman will never hit him. Because the shaman will not move. I'm surprised he moved from this spot. Obviously, he alt-tabbed from whatever else he was doing on another monitor to even get up into the position that he's at. Now you see, look, he's stutter stepping a little bit forward. He's got that keyboard press. We're gonna kill Psyfiend. It's a really good idea to kill Psyfiend. It's gonna be one of the main mechanics that's gonna be winning your opponent's games or winning your team games. So killing that off even as a healer, saving your hardest hitting attack against a Shadow Priest can be a good idea. Now the shaman gets knocked off the side and things get really awkward. So knocking these bots that don't move is a really good tactic because they can't really recover from their position if their operator is literally not there at the keyboard. But we're tossing up decent damage on the Shadow Priest. We're trying to get out ahead. I think he must be here. I don't understand how this thing is like, it's like stutter stepping it's the way up or what is going on with this thing. But obviously Blade's Edge Arena does not get along with the Autobots rollout. We get Repentance like a noob again. Need to update that AI software. Keep getting repented without shapeshifting. We get scattered out, and there's the Psyfiend. And look how dangerous it is. I kill it at the last second, but we're already so far behind that it ends up winning the game. And the rest of the lobby pretty much played out like this. The Elemental Shaman actually ended up getting a game against us. I think it was the Shadow Priest. Our warrior just ran in and died to the 80k Elemental Shaman while I was CC'd. It was really unfortunate. But I just wanted to show you guys this, talk about AI and like what could be positive uses for it in World of Warcraft. You know, introducing play against bot modes I think could be great for educational purposes, assuming that they're programmed intricately enough to show you what abilities are important and maybe even used as like PvP tutorial modes basically. I think that could be a good use for them. This use, however, no, I'd like to see these these players banned, and Blizzard have some sort of way of combating this, as it seems to be an ongoing issue in the PvP community. But other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. Hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.